freewheeling cavalcade of circular motion, thus defined by the octagon table of double-wide mental introspection, and dedicated utilitarian outward thinking in defense of zero content. Translation: we ain't got nothing. Oh, hey folks, dude here, coming yet again. Another iteration of Dude. This total, well, things going downhill, and of course the problem therein, and every time things just going, just bad. Yeah, okay, thanks, song guy. All right. Anyway, let me scroll. Facebook, if you guys see me not doing anything much in the groups, which kind of is really just the only thing I really do in groups is every once in a while I'll post a meme up or I'll make a snarky comment. Doesn't really change me up too terribly much to say, well, you posted up something that we don't like. So what did I actually post up? Well, I posted up a picture of two Ruger Mini 14s from a sales page. No sales information whatsoever, no pricing, just pictures, basic description of what the items were. And of course, Facebook being Facebook, they said, you know what? You're not going to get any activity in the group, so we're going to teach you a lesson. Does it really make me feel like, no, it doesn't make me feel like that in the slightest. But Facebook being Facebook, they are playing their games, trying their stupid stuff, and of course, in the process they're in, they think that they're going to hold me out to dry and make me not do the things that I really, truly, really, truly want to do. Hang on a second here. Let me try something else here real fast. Was there something else I recently added onto my Chrome? No, I don't see anything that's new per se. But it's being a little boggy. I don't know if it's like like an internet thing or what's going on. So if you see me kind of like doing like kind of like the max headroom, kind of weird kind of choppy stuff. That's what's going on with that one. Barricade on in the room, Martina Sasquatch in the room. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. Good stuff like that there. DEFCON 1. Okay, Martina Sasquatch, DEFCON 1. You think like Putin's ready to drop something on board and say, it's niet time for you, niet time. I hope it's not niet time because, the missiles of October were not good back in the 60s, and anything current would also be, not exactly great either. So let me scroll. I have got so many memes, so much content on my Facebook page that, it really kind of truly takes me a while to scroll back down and get to the actual opportunity of where I was previously, making snarky comments and all the good stuff like that there. But let me scroll. Okay, I think I am now back to where I need to be. Okay, yes. Scrolling off the memes, all the rest of the good stuff like that there. There is a classic meme picture, and I cannot do this justice except to simply show it to you guys. And obviously, you guys have seen it. It's been literally in the zeitgeist for blanking forever. So I literally could just, show you the page in which I'm talking about, the actual meme they're in. And you guys can figure out what the heck I'm talking about here. But give me 1 second here. Let me scrolling on my own Facebook page. And I will find the picture and show it to you guys. Excuse me. Show it to you guys, and you'll see it for what it's worth. Okay, so obviously, you guys have seen her, and I'm being charitable here, but you've seen her, obviously, all over the interwebs, and good stuff like that there. It's basically the screaming memeite feminist being, first there's one picture where she's kind of like beaming and happy, and the next picture is she looks like she's about ready to take somebody's internal organs out through their nose. I mean, there's no other way to really explain it except for what it is. And the way that she is positing herself in public, oh my stars and garters, she looks positively feisty, shall we say. But anyway, so let me scrolly, and good stuff like that there. Ooh, they don't even show it to you on your homepage anymore when you collect a group blocking, as it were. So yeah, you know what? Restrictions on group really is not a huge thing. But anyway, I thought it was really funny that either on Reddit or someplace else, somebody had to defend this. I'm going to be charitable here, and I'm going to extend the hand of gender nullification and say essentially, I'm going to think that even though she might be, well,
Oh, you're talking about halala. My ding ding dong.
okay, even though I know that she is obviously a, and obviously a,
You may want to.
You've got mail.
oh, you actually okay, you actually might, sound guy. You actually might in that regard. Anyway, so way, shape, and form which we find ourselves, somebody decided that they're going to defend her honor, as it were, which I think is absolutely hilarious. So let's just run through the north to south of what somebody posted up. I believe it's Reddit. It kind of looks like Reddit font and what have you, but it says this: if you see this meme with this image, keep in mind it's meant to characterize the quote unquote radical left. Uh, well, you know what? I think it really is interesting when the radical left refers to anybody but them, other than maybe slightly way left of center. They always say it's the MAGA Republicans, the hard charging right, radical right MAGA Republicans. So anyway, it's meant to characterize the quote unquote radical left, personified by a non-binary person.
You've got mail.
Okay, thanks, sound guy. But I think literally the problem is
You may want to.
Oops, I dropped my gerbil.
Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me.
You've got mail.
Okay, so anyway, personified by a non-binary person, wearing glasses, eyed wide, mouth certainly mid-harangue, implying the left are hysterical, screeching. Hang on a second here. Let me go back into the picture here. I hate when it does this. You basically try to look at something, and it's like, if you even think about bringing the cursor by it, it does stupid stuff. Hang on a second here. Let me recover this. So mouth certainly in mid harangue, implying the left are hysterical, screeching, intellectual, gender non-conforming zealots, bristling to cancel you because they're triggered by something innocuous. Yeah, the image is a freeze frame from a video. Quote, link in the comments. It's less than a minute long. Now here's what they're trying to defend him. They speak at normal volume. They're reasonable and respectful. They're talking about rape as a problem in North America. It's while someone tries to shout them down, they never lose their cool. So it's a deliberate mischaracterization of the left's priorities and means of discourse in every way. It's propaganda, and anyone sharing it to you is trying to play you. No, when you have a visual like that, even in a freeze frame, that is not a normal person speaking to you. That's somebody like they're absolutely losing their cookies. Okay, she is not speaking respectfully, and she's definitely being very definitively, very upfront with her statements therein. That is not normal speaking mannerisms. People don't look like this in freeze frame when they're talking to somebody normally. Okay, that's exactly what she looks like. She looks like she's, not that's not normal facial characterization of person in a freeze frame. Most of the time, you freeze somebody in a freeze frame, they're like this. They're like, you get them in like half of a word where it's, that's classically me. Anytime somebody takes a picture, I'm always kind of like, eh. it's not like I'm pissed off at them or anything like that. It's just like they usually catch me in the middle of a word where I'm like, hey, this, that, the other thing. And then they get the snapshot on it. But I think it's absolutely hilarious that they felt the need to quote unquote defend her honor and try to edit this after the fact. Scrolly. Speaking of the complete and total.
You've got mail.
S-Y-Z-P-D-Q-O-U-812. S-Y-Z-P-D-Q-O-U-812.
Oops, I dropped my gerbil.
Okay, no, sound guy. No, it's the other side of the aisle. Stop! I hit the stop button on that one. I do not need to get a copyright hit from playing the X-Files theme. So you basically get like one bar of that. You get the intimation, and you realize we're talking about a
S-Y-Z-P-D-Q-O-U-812. Oh, you touch my tra-la-la. My ding-ding-dong.
Yeah, so we're talking about the XYZ PDQ OU812 on the how do I say this without saying the female reproductive original ownership there inside of the aisle. Okay, I think that's I think that's about as generic as I possibly can make it, even though they claim to be something else, and that's being very, very generous. They claim to be something that they're not, as not by the origination of their primary and secondary sexual characteristics. All right, I think that's about as good as I'm going to get it. Anyway, so coming in from Breitbart.com, oh man, this is par for the course with Didney, and I'm saying Didney, not D-I-S N EY. I'm saying Didney. So Didney's Star Wars. Yeah, Didney. They now are introducing during the month of P Ride. This is the latest Disney Didney Plus streaming series, The Acolyte, and it's described as the gayest Star Wars yet. So anyway, so the thing about it is they're stating this as this is now such a brave thing. And where's it coming from? Well, Leslie Headland, who's a lesbian, serves as Disney Plus's series showrunner, writer, and executive producer. So she's the first openly queer person to take the reins of an on-screen Star Wars project and has promised her point of view as an XYZ PDQ OU812 person will be present in the new series. She told the Acolyte she told the Acolyte that she was, quote, excited to do the type of character work, end quote, that she normally would do in her other projects as she joins the Star Wars universe. To her surprise, Headland said this idea was something that, quote, everyone was into, end quote. Okay, it's everything that everybody at Disney Studios might be into, but it's not something that normal society is into. So much so that they're actually experiencing major pushback at the parks. There's a lack of attendance. There's a lack of people just really reaching out to this type of stuff because, okay, you might actually be of this persuasion, but it's not like something that is like 99.99999% of your persona and 99.9999999% of your daily life. You don't just simply walk out the door going, yep, let me be as XYZ PDQ OU812 as possible in every nuance, in every instant, and every single minute matter in my daily existence to be as XYZ PDQ OU812 as possible, have it in the face of every single person I encounter, and make sure that they know I am of that persuasion. Normal people just don't do that. It's one of those things they just are. And it's not something that they basically say, look at me, I'm XYZ, PDQ, OE812, pay more attention to me because I am of that persuasion. Normally, that's not how they roll, okay? As a matter of fact, I did experience a hilarious social experiment, as it were, where we have a very openly gay couple in the family. It's like one of my wife's nephew's wife's brothers. So basically, it's like a brother cousin-in-law almost. But the couple, they're cool. I mean, I have absolutely no problem with them whatsoever. But the one guy is a fairly, you can obviously tell, if you get in deep conversation with him, you can tell he's XYZ PDQ. The other guy, he is flaming on, flamboyant, all the way out there. And of the two of them, they are absolutely just fun to be around. There is absolutely no time whatsoever where I'm like, oh my goodness, my masculinity has been so threatened by having these two guys in the other persuasion. It has never even come up in conversation, and they are just absolutely hilarious to be around. One guy is basically like the straight man, and I do mean like the comedy phasing. One guy is literally like the straight man. He's kind of the quiet one. And the other one is he's way out there. His phaser is set on fabulous, and he's just hilarious to be around. But anyway, it was a conversation he had with one of the really, really, very Catholic guys. And he's like, so, why don't you tell me, what is this gay thing all about? And the really flamboyant guy's like, just leave us the blank alone. I was like, pretty much that's it. They're like a designated secure couple in their own thing, and that's pretty much it. I mean, they just happen to be the same sex couple, and that's it. Nobody really cares. But anyway, so these guys will be shoving this and then rubbing everybody's nose in it. It's going too far. And there's always a pushback, and there's always a case where normal society goes, look, we know you guys are out there. We don't care that you guys are out there. Don't try to shove this in our face every time possible, because most of the time we don't care. We don't want to know about it. And if you do your thing, do your thing. We don't want to see it. We don't want to know about it. Okay? Leave us alone. Just like that one really flamboyant guy said at the party, just leave us the F Chuck alone. That was it. This one I find completely interesting, and this is one that they really, truly don't like. As a matter of fact, Facebook actually put a fact check box on it. So they say misleading content. Independent fact checkers say this information could mislead people. See why? Well, let's go with the information sourcing therein. So I said right at the top, and I got to clean this up for normal consumption here, but F Chuck you, Facebook fact checkers. Oh, but it's safe, and you're dumb for not getting the boosters. So study. High excess death rates in the West for 3 years running since the start of the pandemic, despite containment and vaccines. Excess death rates have remained high in the West for 3 years running since the start of COVID-19, finds an analysis of 47 countries published in the BMJ Public Health. So that's not fake information, okay? That is a compiling therein of correct information and dispensing it therein to everybody that's willing to actually read the numbers. So scrolly. This is despite the implementation of various containment measures and availability of COVID-19 vaccines, giving rise to a, quote, serious case for concern, end quote, said researchers are on call on governments and policymakers for thoroughly investigating this thing for the underlying causes. That's me adding it a little bit there. The researchers wanted to gauge the effectiveness of response to the health crisis posed by COVID-19 as reflected by excess deaths. These refer to a number of people who die from any cause above and beyond what would normally be expected for a given week month between January 2020 and December 2022 in 47 countries, including Europe, North America, Australia, and New Zealand. Researchers applied a statistical method called Karlinski and Kobach's estimate model. This uses historical death data in a particular country from 2015 to 2019 and accounts for seasonal variation and annual trends in deaths due to changes in population structure. So this is not fake stuff, folks. These are actually like doing the actuarial stuff and getting the numbers correct and going, hey, this is a spike. This is not normality here. So the total number of excess deaths in the countries included in the analysis was 3,098,456. Excess deaths were reported by 41 countries, 87% in 2020, by 42, 89% in 2021, and by 43, 91% in 2022. Just give me a second here. I think I got something flashing up on my phones. Let's see. Scrolly. In 2020, the year in which COVID-19 pandemic started and containment measures such as lockdown, social distancing, school closures, and quarantines were implemented, 1,033,122 excess deaths, 11.5% higher than expected, were recorded. Let's see. So, in 2022, the year in which the most containment measures were lifted, but the COVID-19 vaccines were continued, preliminary data indicates that 808,392 excess deaths were recorded. So Greenland was the only country out of 47 reporting no excess deaths between 2020 and 2022. Among the others, the percentage difference between the reported and projected number of deaths was highest in 13 countries, 28% during 2020, 21%, I'm sorry, 24, 6, let me try that again. 21 and 46% during 2021 and 26% in 2022. Excuse me, I got another job I got to accept here. Percentage difference between the documented and projected number of deaths was highest in 28% of the countries during 2020, in 46% during 2021, and 26% during 2022. So all these numbers mixing it up, and Facebook is going, nope, that's fake stuff. You don't have to believe any of that stuff. Believe us instead, because we got the group of people known as fact checkers. You know what? I am pretty much going to start believing not the fact checkers when they say the sky is green when I've lost my eyesight and I'm about 2 heartbeats away from death. Maybe. So scrolly. Let's see. I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not, but supposedly Joe Caca and his D-Day thing in France was having problems. Yeah, so what kind of problems was Joe Caca having? Well, let's just take a listen to what may have been going on and see if we can't figure out what happened to Mr. Joe Caca. It's well, it was really, really bad juju. What kind of bad juju are we talking about here? Well, we're talking about, of all things, Joe having a problem with
Distinguished guests, please welcome the Honorable Lloyd J. Austin.
Oops, I dropped my gerbil.
yeah, he was standing beside Macron and he was doing a weird kind of like trying to sit down, and I gotta tell you, man, it really seemed kind of sketch the way he was trying to sit down. Yeah, Major Fever, bad caca bombs. Excuse me a second here. And no, I'm not drinking one with sugar. I'm actually drinking one of Mrs. Dude's Coke Zeros. I gotta say, in terms of diet soda, it does taste the least diet soda-ish, but I really, truly can never drink a full can of this stuff. I get about halfway down, and I'm like, you know what? I'm tapping out. Tapping out. But yeah, Joe Caca was suffering caca bombs. There is more information on that one. Stand by on that one. I will be scrolling, get through good stuff like that there. This one coming in from American Journal, I can't talk today. AmericanJournalDaily.com. So the Fanny, and I'm using the the Bo Snerdley line. I listened to his podcast, but the Bo Snerdley line where the Fanny just got some dookie shoved back in hard and deep. So from Fox News, a major setback to the Fulton County District Attorney, the Georgia Court of Appeals on Wednesday put a pause on any proceedings relating to the 2020 election interference case from former President Donald John Trump and the co-defendants until it hears from the case to disqualify the Fannie Willis in October. So the appeals court is tentatively scheduled for a hearing date of October 4 for the appeal of Trump and his co-defendants to have embattled Willis disqualified from the case due to quote-unquote improper affair with a former special prosecutor, Nathan Wade. So the Fannie might be getting her poo-poo slapped. The appeals court action all but solidifies that the Fannie's sweeping racketeering case against 45th president will not go to trial before the 2024 election in November. About damn time they start knocking this crap down. I'm not even going to give this one much attention here, except for simply calling it for what it is. But MLN.com posted up a story that said Mad Maxine Waters calls Trump backers, quote, domestic terrorists. I love this. Domestic terrorists preparing for, quote unquote, a civil war. Maxine, do you even read the Constitution? Because you made the other Americans ready to remove you for doing the stuff that you have done to the nation, could that maybe be why they're quote unquote domestic terrorists, end quote, preparing for quote unquote civil war? I think the mere fact that you see an armed citizenry scares the snot out of you, and you simply can't deal with the fact that, oh yeah, in terms of a standing army, 3 states deer hunters is more than all the U.S. military combined. Yeah, let's give you a harsh reality check there, okay? You're talking about guys that are content to sit tied in a tree all damn day long, and if they don't get a deer, it still was a good day. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that really pretty much can even up anybody in terms of any kind of, hey, let's strut in here and basically show the American public that we're in charge. You're not, okay? The Constitution is not a limit on our rights. It is a limit and a complete and total, you're going to basically not proceed any further on you guys in the government. It is your limitation, not ours. Read it. This guy really, truly needs to be under the jail. There was a cop deputy by the name of Eddie Duran ran up to some guy's door, wrong address, mind you. Open up, listen, blah, blah, open up the door, cuss. Had his camera going because he's a dumbass. Or potentially, he's a dumbass that's done this stuff before and it hasn't blown up on him. But anyway, so the guy answering the door was now past tense, now expired, now deceased, because, oh yeah, Deputy Eddie Duran killed the guy. The guy walked up to the door, had a pistol down by his side, and was like, look, you got the wrong address. The deputy said, gun, and proceeded to open up on the guy and killed him. This is a senior airman in the Air Force, a well-respected person, and just because he happened to be a younger-looking black male, I really want to curse here, but this guy popped him, killed him, put him down, and the only thing that's gotten to him at this point in time is he's been fired from the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Department. What needs to happen to this guy is he needs to go to jail for a seriously long time, and he needs to be financially ruined. And oh yeah, the FOP needs to step aside and say, tap it out. This guy's a turd. He's a turd in a punch bowl. Sorry, can't help you. Because that seems to be the problem. When you indemnify cops and you say, oh yeah, you can't be charged with these things. That's the problem. Because you have now somebody that's like, oh, I'm above society. And that's the thing about it is, military guys, anybody that's law enforcement, fire guys, all the rest of these, special branches of people that have really put themselves above the fray, they know they're putting themselves at risk to potentially go down and save society. They are not the guys who go, well, I'm more precious than Joe Average here, so I am going to go home tonight. So that's the major problem on that one. And this guy needs to be just more than just fired. He needs to be under the jail. Sorry, I'm accepting, rides for, Uber. So I literally am still, quote unquote, at work. So anyway, way, shape, and form on this one. This guy needs to be under the jail, needs to be charged unceremoniously for wrongful death. A myriad of, I can think of about like 6 or 7 charges off the top of my head, but this guy needs to go down for the count. This is not a permissible thing in normal society where you go, knock, 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 guy approaches you, in his own home with a firearm, and you go, gun, and drop the guy. And you went to the wrong address in the first place. It's bad juju. Oh, absolutely, Martinez Sasquatch. I'm not going to take that one out of the room, but yes, there's a reason why knight's armor was made moot back in the day. Yes, that's all I will say on that one, Martinez Sasquatch. And I'm not talking about like blunderbusses or black powder firearms. I'm talking a little bit of a precursor. Oh yeah, they're fairly quiet. The only thing you really hear is ka-tunk. Yeah, they work. Scrolly. Um, I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not, but this is absolutely one of those just emblematically obvious thing to anybody that looks at it and sees for what it is. But I'm going to pull this one directly out of here because it's clean enough. But I will quote from Star Wars, like, Episode 4, New Hope, whatever you wish to call it, the original Star Wars 77. I'm going to quote General Obi-Wan Kenobi here. You can't win, Darth. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine. And now that's a really bad Ben Kenobi, but that's literally what's happening here. So from the post-millennial, speaking of a turning point action event on Thursday evening, 2024 GDP presumptive nominee Donald Trump announced his campaign had raised $400 million since his conviction in New York City in late May. Trump said that he was, quote unquote, beating Biden, by the way, by a lot, adding that right after the announcement of this, more campaign funds were given to the campaign than any other campaign they think in history, almost $400 million. So that was the other thing, too, is also immediately after his conviction, 24 hours, he raised almost $54 million. They crashed the server trying to make contributions. Now, this one I think is absolutely hilarious. Going over here to truthpress.com. They keep going on and on and on and on again about, January 6th and the MAGA Republicans and, it was an insurrection. Well, pro-Palestinian protesters have surrounded the White House. What did Biden do? Well, he put a wall around the perimeter. I guess he feels so much safer now, just because he's got these things. The Secret Service will be able to stay inside the wall and keep him safe from, pro-Palestinian protesters. What do you think they're going to do versus the other guys in January 6th? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. This one beyond absolutely sucks. So if you've seen the picture, it's one of those classic things. I'm sure you guys have seen it before, but literally we're talking about the guy who was on the surface of the moon. So hang on one second. Let me see if I can't pull the picture real fast here. I'll see if I can't do it real fast here. Hang on one second. Hang on one second. Hang on one second. Yes. Okay. There is a picture, and it's really seriously in the standard zeitgeist. Everybody's seen the picture. So literally what it is this picture. Let me drop my brightness here so you guys can actually see what I'm talking about. And what they literally refer to it as is the Earth rise. I know it's not a great, picture showing it through my camera and all, but literally the guy was standing on the surface of the moon and took that unbelievably emblematic, just awesome picture, and it's been known as Earthrise. So that guy who took that picture was I'm saying past tense, unfortunately, but was William Anders, and he was an Apollo 8 astronaut that was standing on the moon when he took that picture. Now, he was 90 years old and was killed in a plane crash over Puget Sound in Washington on Friday afternoon. And the incident, and I've seen the video, literally what it looked like, he was pulling a loop and trying to come back around and trying to do like a close pass over the water. Well, it seems he had speed, and for some reason couldn't pull the plane up from a high rate of speed. So he was flying a Beechcraft T-34 Mentor and crashed in Roche Harbor, Washington at 11:40 a.m. local time Friday, June 7. Man, he was the only pilot on board. So it's kind of one of those just horrific things where you have somebody that's flying. They've been flying forever, probably done the maneuver a bunch of times, and for some reason, he just didn't pull the plane up in time, crashed the water, small puff of smoke. They haven't recovered his body. He's obviously presumed dead. That kind of an accident you usually don't walk away from. Unfortunately, And with sadness, I say to absent companions, Godspeed, sir. Rest in peace. But yeah, there's not a lot of guys who have been on the moon still around. Now there's one less. This one I think is absolutely hilarious, and this is the kind of stuff that seems to have happened when you have those people gloating about what they do. Yes. So there's now evidence, is coming from truthpress.com. There's now evidence uncovered of a potential jury miscount in the Trump trial. Oopsie. Isn't that interesting? So what's going on here is there's now evidence in the Manhattan Supreme Court that supposedly somebody did something sketch. So Supreme Court Justice Juan Meechan revealed on Friday that a Facebook user claiming to be a cousin of the juror in the former President Donald Trump's hush money trial suggested he'd had advanced knowledge of last week's guilty verdict. Quote, today the court became aware of a comment which was posted on the Unified Courts System's public Facebook page, which I now bring to your attention, Meechan wrote a letter to Trump attorney Todd Blanche and Manhattan District Attorney General Office. Whoopsie. Oh, sorry, District Attorney General. In the comment, Michael Anderson wrote, my cousin is a juror and says Trump is getting convicted. Thank you, folks, for all the hard work. The judge explained. So the comment was included in response to a May 29 post in the New York court system's Facebook page that was unrelated to the 77-year-old former president's trial. Facebook labeled the comment as being 1 week old when it was noticed, according to Meechan. That's very interesting. So in his Facebook profile, Anderson describes himself as a trans-abled and professional SH hit poster. Professional S hit poster. Yeah. So last Thursday, Trump was found guilty of 34 felony counts. Well, okay, this is enough right here to muddy the water and say this is potentially a mistrial. And like it's been said, Patriot Fever even said in a comment here, yep, they got a mass trial now. Get him back in court and off the campaign trail. You raise so much money to not have to raise more. Yeah, well, that's part of the problem too, is also they're going to drag him back into court and try to retry it yet again. That on itself is sketch. So anyway, way, shape, and form which we find ourselves, it is getting very, very interesting with these guys. All of a sudden, all these things are now starting to have happen, and it's getting very intriguing because those people who really shouldn't have that foreknowledge have the knowledge to talk about it. Interesting. So now let's scroll. I'm looking at work as well. This one I think is one of those not funny things. So Travis Kelce. So supposedly the Secret Service were joking with him. Once he got on the lectern, you don't get on the podium. The podium's the thing you stand on. The lectern is the thing in front of you that holds your speech. So got to the lectern and says the Secret Service threatened to tase him during the White House visit if he was to say something sketch. The only thing I got to say on that one is, okay, really? You want to tase me? Well, be sure to do that on live camera, okay? But you know what? There's some hit you don't joke about. And tasing somebody as they're making public statement is not something that you do joke about, ever. I don't care what your position is. I don't care if you're a cop, if you're Secret Service, any of these things that you basically, posit the notion of doing and saying, haha, this is funny. That's not, I really want to curse here. That's not chucking funny. And I'd be damn sure to tell the guy in no uncertain terms, okay, you're going to tase me? Let's get to the good part where I'm really in front of the camera and I know the lights are still on, then tase me. It'd be a nice news story, okay? Yeah, I'm talking about something in public that you don't like. I would have thrown that right back in that guy's face and I would told him in no uncertain terms, really? Blanking do it. I chucking dare you. Well, I'm just joking with you. Don't joke with me. I'm serious. Well, we're just joking around. I'm not. You're supposed to be in a position of supreme importance here, and you're joking about tasing somebody as they're making a public statement on a White House event? That is not a joke. That's not even funny. I'm not even going to laugh that one off. I am serious. Sound guy, get on it. Oh, man. Oh, I did have a news breaker. So what happened to Joe Kaka in France during the D-Day event? Well, it seems Joe Biden had an international incident in France. He launched an ICBM. That was an incontinent bowel movement, aka a brown missile. Scrolly. I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not, but supposedly the juries have decided you're not above the board of inquiry, pal. So the jury has now found, this from Breitbart, jury's found Hunter Biden guilty on all 3 gun charges. Okay, like I was telling Mrs. Dude, anytime you buy a firearm, you have the 4473 form. On that form, it asks you, are you a person that's been under mental care? No, you better say no. If you have, you better say, well, yeah, but I'm okay now. But if you say no and they check back and find out you were, or you're totally nutsy crazy and you shouldn't be getting these things, it's going to blow back on you. Also, you have to state, are you an alcoholic? No. And if you are, it'll blow back on you. Or are you a habitual drug user? And I think it's now gotten kind of a squishy thing with marijuana, but are you a habitual drug user? Are you addicted to any form of, basically hardcore stuff? And if you say no, it'll blow back on you. So what did he do? Well, he filled out the form. So he basically posted, I am above board. I can buy the gun and this, that, and the other thing. So for all intents and purposes, him filling out the form and lying on it, that's a felony. Him saying that he's not a drug user and he can obtain the firearm at such time, that's a second felony. Taking delivery of the firearm under color of falsification of that form, that's a third felony. So that's just what I'm pulling out of the ethers. I don't know what his actual charges are, but I can tell you for a fact, working in the firearms industry myself and actually doing those forms for people and actually buying firearms and doing the 4473s myself, you literally have to yes, no those questions, and you better state them correctly. And if they are not correct, you basically rip it up and start a new form. But you have to fill them out correctly. And if you lie on that form and they catch you lying on that form, one of the questions being, are you doing a straw purchase? Straw purchase is where you basically find like a junkie or an addict or somebody, and you're like, hey man, buy a gun for me because I'm not going to want my name on this gun. Dude buys a gun and then gives it to you. So it's in that guy's name. That is a straw purchase. That is patently illegal. You cannot do these things. It blows back on all involved, but mostly it blows back on the guy that filled out the form and said, yeah, I'm a junkie, but let me buy this gun. Most expressly for Hunter. What's the irony of that one? Dude's name is Hunter and got fried. Speaking of things, this one I find to be completely hilarious. This one is Joe Kaka shooting off his foot yet again. Breitbart.com. Biden is now suing gun owners after Hunter's conviction, quote unquote. Who in God's name needs a magazine that holds 200 shells? I do. I would not mind a magazine that holds 200 shells. Well, first off, it would weigh a blanking ton, okay? I mean, you pick up a 40-round magazine. That's not light. You pick up a 200-round magazine. That thing's like a tank buster, man, okay? But anyway, he doesn't even know what the hell he's talking about. But he is making a speech on Tuesday. The activist gun control event, Biden asked, who in God's name needs a magazine that holds 200 shells? Anyway, so the crowd answered screaming, nobody. Biden responded, nobody, that's right. Then he wanted to recount a time when he was campaigning in the wetlands of Delaware, claiming came across a fisherman who said, you want to take my gun? Biden responded by saying, I don't want to take your gun. You're allowed to have a gun, but I want you to take your ability to use an assault. Oh, Jesus. I want to take your ability to use an assault weapon. Should be an. So Biden then claimed he doubled down by telling the fisherman, guess what? If you need 12 or 100 bullets in a gun and a magazine, you're the lousiest shot I've ever heard. As the crowd cheered, Biden pushed more gun controls, including firearm storage laws, universal background checks, the ability to sue gun makers, and the criminal use of all guns. That is stuff that they've been doing in a perpetuity. And let's be completely honest here. The mantra of gun control comes from the left side of the aisle. Jim Crow, segregation, all kinds of racially motivated things that they've always done, including gun control. Gun control came out of the racist minds of those guys in the Democrat Party going, oh no, we can't have these freed slaves able to defend themselves and basically chase off the bad guys on their property when they try to kill them after being free. That's where gun control came from. It is a racist notion inserted yet again by the racist Democrat Party. Never, ever forget these things. History is a harsh tutor if you don't know it. Scrolly. I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not, but Breitbart.com yet again. Joey Chestnut, you know, the guy that basically would stand there at the nation's hot dog eating contest and inhale as many man-lathe meat rods as possible. Well, unfortunately for him, he just got fired from the 2024 hot dog eating contest. Why? Because he says the man-lathe meat rods are no good anymore because he's eating vegetable-based meat rods. Yeah, so supposedly he's been working for another group of people. They said, we are devastated to learn that Joey Chestnut has chosen to represent a rival brand that sells plant-based hot dogs rather than competing in the 2024 nation's famous 4th of July hot dog eating contest. The Major League Eating Group, or the MLE, which oversees the nation's event. So the MLE and Nathan's went to Great Lakes to accommodate Joey and his management team, agreeing to appearance fee and allowing Joey to compete in a rival unbranded hot dog eating contest on Labor Day. So they literally want this guy to still come out and choke down the meat rods. But the problem is, they say essentially, for 2 decades was worked under the same basic hot dog exclusivity provisions. However, it seems that Joey and his managers have prioritized a new partnership with a different brand over our long-term relationship. Joey Chestnut is an American hero. We would love nothing more than to have him in the nation's famous hot dog eating challenge, but we hope he returns when he's not representing a rival brand. So Chestnut has not commented on his exclusion, but he's sucking down vegan meat rods. Man-lathe vegan meat rods. I cannot do this one justice, but this chick possibly comes from one of the lower, well, maybe possibly wrong depths therein of Hades. So anyway, this chick, also coming in from Breitbart, there is a woman who's accused of stabbing an Ohio toddler to death, 3-year-old kid, and she's getting read her charges in jail, and she's just like, that's so cool. Yeah, and it's like, the guy's like, and on the charge of blah, 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 you, this, that, and the other thing. We are now charging you with the crime of blah, blah, blah. And she is grinning like a Cheshire cat, like it's the coolest thing ever. That is the face of evil. And I truly cannot begin to tell you how just unbelievably nasty it was to watch that video with her. So I'm just getting updates on stuff. This one I think is absolutely hilarious. Breitbart yet again. So Rachel Maddow is quote unquote worried that Donald Trump will ship her to a quote unquote massive camp. You mean kind of like the treatment that my people of the Jewish persuasion got? Is that kind of what you think is going to have happen because you're a screaming Mimiite socialist liberal talking head on, well, not a very well watched news agency on cable? Do you think that's actually what's going to happen? Donald Trump's going to go, Thor's hammer, let's box this chick up and ship her off to the re-education camps, because that's the kind of phrasing that you guys on the left side of the aisle, that's the phrasing you always use. We'll have to re-educate these MAGA Republicans. We'll have to put them in a containment, camp. We'll have to ship them off to the gulags of re-education. Got really bad news for you. very first opportunity that you try to ship me off to a gulag, I know what's coming. And also, as a Jew, I really know what's coming. So my last effort is going to be to resist you in the strongest possible terms. Let's just leave that one for circumspection by those people on that side of the aisle. Because I got to tell you what, when it comes down to that one, and rubber meets the road, I'm going to go down fighting because I know for a fact the resistance that I give is going to be so much better than the subjugation that would follow then after, and I ain't going that route. Scrolly. There was of all things, truthpress.com, there was a sting operation in New York, LA, and Philadelphia. So who do you think they picked up in this sting operation? Do you think it was drugs? Do you think it was something else? Potentially something just sounding like stop that. No, sound guy. It was not XYZ PDQ 0812. Okay. It's not a sting operation. Well, it could be a sting operation when you get done doing the XYZ PDQ activities. Ugh. Yeah, I think they might be stinging just a little bit, but no, that's not what I'm talking about. Okay. That's literally what I'm not talking about, sound guy. Stop. 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 Okay. So truthpress.com, six suspected terrorists with ISIS ties were arrested in sting operations in New York, LA, and Philadelphia. So 6 Russian nationals suspected to have terror ties to ISIS been arrested in a coordinated sting operation in Los Angeles, New York, and Philadelphia, the Post exclusively revealed. 2 ISIS sources confirmed to the Post that there were 6 people who hail from Tajikistan over the last week after the FBI contacted the agency to warn it. Part of the investigation featured a wiretap, revealed one of the now arrested individuals was talking about BOMs. We're talking about, I got this one, sound guy. We're talking about things that go. Hang on a second here. Things that go. No, it's not quack. Sound guy, stop that. We're not talking about things that go quack, okay? We're talking about things that go, well, more than a little bit, yes. Things that go like that. So anyway, we're talking about would you just stop? I don't know where he's going with that one. So part of the investigation featured a wiretap revealed that one of the now arrested individuals was talking about anyway, so remember the Boston Marathon bombing.
And thing sucks.
Stop! I'm afraid something like that might happen again, or worse, when the sources told the Post. The targeted subject of the wiretap was previously released by federal authorities in the southern border with a court date next year, but has since emerged he has potential ties to ISIS. Okay, so these guys sneaking across the southern border. We know this stuff is going on. Jeez. Biden suggests that he's not going to drop out. He's got an all-time low number, but the numbers have been hit, but he's too brain dead to quit. It's legit. Supposedly this one's very, very interesting. I'm going to bounce this one off you real fast. AmericanJournalDaily.com. Hunter's ex-stripper that he knocked up said her iPhone, her iCloud account were hacked and her phones were working sketchy. She had to get new phones immediately after she stated days after that Hunter had gotten her pregnant. So that is either U.S. or Chi-Com intelligence had hacked or cleaned out her phones and iCloud accounts after she said that Hunter did it. That's really strange stuff. I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but the very kind of middle-aged looking couple, the one chick with the pistol and the guy with the AR-15 holding off the crowd in the gated community in St. Louis. Well, supposedly MSN tried to screw these people, but it failed to cancel them, and they've had their convictions expunged, and now they want their guns back. So, situation on that one, it did not work. This one I had to post up several times. This one's, of course, an ammoland.com post, but there is a group, and I cannot do this justice, folks. There is a group, and these people, well, they're not slick, okay, but they are putting it upon themselves to destroy firearms, and they tried to destroy firearms, and they tried to saw in half a black powder gun, and, well, the gun control group tried to do it, and so anyway, these idiots tried to basically cut the thing in half. The gun fired. It went through the place. It went out, hit two cars, and thus stating the most empathetically I can state it, those people who don't know what they're doing with firearms should not touch the guns. I got another link up here. It's on my Facebook page. I don't ever really have time for it because I can literally, as soon as I roll out of here, I got to go and do an Uber run. There's somebody that's arriving, and I have the run already lined up, so I got to go down to my local airport, pick them up. But Nancy Drunkelosi has admitted that she is responsible for the lack of response during January 6th. If you guys want to look at my Facebook page, she is admitted she is the guilty party who did not apply the security forces correctly and thought, oh, well, these things will have happen. And oh, no, it didn't work out that way. Oh, geez, I am responsible. So I'm going to drop that link in the room. You guys can see that at your leisure. And I will let you guys, check it out for your own perusal. Patriot Fever is a high-capacity muzzleloader. No, literally what it was a loaded black powder firearm. And these idiots are going, without realizing that black powder lights with a spark. Yeah, so they fired. The dude was like, kaplow! It was like, oh, no! Yeah, so that was very, very interesting. They didn't think to check the firearm to see if the firearm was actually live. Yeah. Scroll. This one I cannot do it justice. A CBS host was shocked that 75% of Americans back deporting illegal immigrants. It just cracks me up. The look on her face and the freeze frame thumbnail, I cannot do it justice, but a deluded liberal cannot believe that more Americans want illegals out. I cannot do this justice, folks. So I think I've reached about the end of it, and I got to rock and roll. I truly, truly appreciate your kind attention. You guys decided to hang out with me and all good stuff like that there. Hang on one second here. Okay, get my ducks in a row, as it were. Scrolly. There's a couple more stories I have posted up on my Facebook page. So if you guys want to check that out at your leisure, good stuff like that there. Thank you guys for hanging out with me on Tuesday. You got many other things to do, but I'm going to break up on this one. So eat good, keep the 10 ring as always, you know you love it. I will see you guys next week. Good stuff like that there. Unless I post up another video earlier. Me being snarky, there's a very good chance I will post up another video. So I'm going to break up on this one, folks. Have a good one. I will catch you guys next week. Get a gold star for attendance, and I will see you then. Catch you guys later. And see ya. Enters.